Hello, you are watching my YouTube channel. I am your host, Kamran Arshad. Today, I have invited a guest in this vlog, and I am going to discuss her life, her visions, her goals, and most importantly, her field. Hi, and welcome. We are delighted to have Faiza Tasavvur here today with us. Faiza, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Kamran, for providing me this opportunity to share my journey. And I'm really excited to have a productive conversation from where we can actually lead to somewhere.
I'm really pleasure to have you, ma'am, again. But to start this interview properly, can you please tell us what inspired you to pursue a career as founder and director, Empower Hub, empowering women and educator? Because these are the things you have think on it, and you are working on this thing. This is the most important thing in Pakistan. We have to acknowledge that about the empowering women and education system of Pakistan. And you are an advocate and consultant as well, which I have read in your profile. I have read your profile and definitely perhaps share a bit about your journey leading up to your current role. Over to you, ma'am.
Great. Thank you, Kamran. So, as you've already said that, empowerment, specifically woman empowerment is need of the hour. And the sole purpose, like my whole journey, which I started back in 2009, I was always passionate about education, training, and capacity building because I'm a sort of person, if I have to describe my profession expertise or passion in one sentence, it is going to be that I'm a person who loves seeing people grow. So, if you are pursuing your passion, I guess this is something that you are not going to get tired. In fact, the more you're going to work, the more you'll be, active and enthusiastic towards that. So, being there in the education sector, as you know, that primarily in Pakistan as well, education sector is the only sector in which there's a female dominant population or female dominant group over there because mostly they're teachers, they're school headmistresses, principals, and most of them are female. So what I've observed over the period of 15 years that there's a lot of corner for those women who are there in the rural areas of Pakistan, though they are very passionate, they have the will, but they don't have the platform to excel. They don't have the platform to connect with the right people where they can actually exercise their skills. So after spending good 14 years in the education sector, working with all top private education institutions in various capacities, I thought, so now this is the time that I have to give back to the same sector. So what is that one thing which can actually bring in change? And education, as an educationist, I feel that in fact, education is the most powerful tool which we can use to transform the society. And to start with, why not to start with my own country? Why not to start with those areas where those women actually need mentors, where they need a kind of push, and specifically for skill-based learning. So there, this venture of mine started, which is by name of Pfizer Raja Empowerment Hub. And the word empowerment, I intentionally picked it up. Why? Because if we say that we have to train someone, we have to mentor someone, we have to guide someone, it's one off thing, right? You have mentored, done, gone. But empowerment is like a cycle, it's a continuous cycle. You have to do it. First,
Mm.
you have to empower the person, and then the person will empower another person, and this chain will go on. So, we started last year in 2023, July. It's been going great so far, but there's a lot that we need to achieve with the help of the people around us and in the community. And we have been doing successfully, launched a couple of things in Sindh and in few, rural areas of Punjab as well. So it's just the start, and there's a lot that I need to achieve.
That's really great, a remarkable journey you have shared with us, with the audience who will watch this podcast. But my point is that I have made two or three questions through your discussion. The point is that one point, you are empowering the woman. Absolutely right. And you have mentioned that you have been doing this since 15 years, right? And unfortunately, ma'am Faiza, we are still suffering on this issue, right?
True.
Second point is that you have mentioned education system. If I share my perception, my perspective on education system in Pakistan right now, we have three education systems. One is English medium education system, right? The kids who study in that education system, they are more groomed, they are well mannered, they are more confident. If they are getting these kind of skills, definitely they will get more opportunities, they will get remarkable opportunities in the life. Second education system is Urdu medium education system. If I talk about that system, the kids who study in that system, they are not well groomed, neither they get more opportunities, nor they are able to decide one thing what can be the best option for them. And third education system is very dangerous. It's madrasa education system. I'm not against them, but my point is that they are disconnected with the world, what is happening in the world, and what plans government is trying to make for our country, and what input they have think they can give to the country. So what do you see on this? What is your take on this, first of all? I
Okay,
hope you
so
get my
talking about
point,
education, yeah, I
because
got your
I have
point. Thank
talked
you.
about in details.
Okay, sure, sure. So, talking about education system, the thing that you have just identified is actually the medium of communication, right? If you talk about the education system, it's like one is Pakistani education system where the national curriculum is being taught, and majority of, now in fact there are a couple of, government schools as well where the medium of communication is English, apart from the subject of Urdu, Islamiyat, or Masharti Aloom, which we call in English medium schools at Pakistan studies. And then we have British education system. They follow like, the O levels and IGCSEs and A levels pattern. They're following the CI. And third, that you've mentioned, obviously, that's something linked to religious primarily bit. When we see education as a tool of providing opportunities, it really depends upon the educator. Kamran, trust me, if a teacher who is there in a top private school versus a teacher who is there in a government school or in an Urdu medium school, doesn't matter what mode of communication they are following. If the teacher is well trained regarding the concept that she is giving back to the child, for example, let's take example that the teacher is giving a lecture on photosynthesis, right? So teacher A in top private school and teacher B in any Urdu medium school or government school, which you have said, despite the fact the communication languages, how well the teacher can explain, number one, matters how she is going to link that concept with the real world. So the linkage actually between the real world and the classroom application, that is missing. And when you say that the students are groomed, or in particular schools students are not, that's what you have said. So I have another perspective regarding this. So grooming comes first from the family, from the background that you're coming in. Yes, school is playing a major role in providing that overall persona of the child, but it cannot be done alone by the school. So it's like there are two stakeholders when it comes to the holistic development of a child. There's one, parent, and there's two, the school management. Both have to work together. And if the parent is not literate enough and they say, okay, fine, so we are sending our child to a good school so that he can or she can be good in socialization, she can have good communication skills, and the school is unable to perform no matter what mode of communication they are following, unfortunately, because of the teacher who is in direct contact with the student, they'll not be able to perform. Whereas on the other side, the second example that you have said, in a government school, the teacher is passionate and she is communicating in the same language, may it be Urdu, Sindhi, or any other language. But she's telling the child that this is how this concept will be implemented in the real world and this is how you are supposed to communicate. Then trust me, that student is going to outshine. Now, the main thing that you have said about the language, because more than 80 to 85% of the offices and the official setup here in Pakistan, they're following English medium as a communication. And when the child are unable to, for example, if the students are graduating from XYZ university and they're unable to perform well in an interview, they're unable to communicate nicely in any language that they're supposed to, then they were being judged. But now there is a paradigm shift, which is still over here. There's a lot to do, which is that the world is now heading towards skill-based learning. So the person, despite of the fact what education he or she has, if, for example, he or she is a good writer, if they're good in designing, if they're good in photography, if they're good in writing, so they can actually excel in that field, may it be any language. So this whole topic has a lot of narratives. There are some aspects which are still under the way, but teacher, that's why I'm saying that professional development is really important.
Hmm.
In government, even in madrasas or even in private schools, if the teachers are not being trained well, they
Hmm.
are not they'll not be able to engage students, which will
Hmm.
result in that the students will not take interest, they'll
Hmm.
step back, which will
Hmm.
result in less confident students.
Hmm. Absolutely right. Actually, first of all, I really want to appreciate you that you have given an answer of this question very politely, in a good way, or in details, because I was not expecting this kind of answer from your side in depth, and I really appreciate you on air. First,
No, thank you.
okay, let's move on, ma'am. As the founder and director of Faiza Raja Empowerment Hub, what initiatives have you implemented to empower women and educators globally?
Okay, so to start with, the first ever project that we started, being the founder of this entrepreneurial journey, is in actually Baminda, Cameroon, which is in Africa. So
Hmm.
we collaborated with a not-for-profit firm by name of Sustainable Actions Africa. And
Hmm.
Sustainable Actions Africa started a project by name of Pathfinder STEM Hub, which is working to provide STEM education to those areas in Africa, starting from Biminda, where there are lack of resources when it comes to professional development. Number two, they want to challenge the existing education system overall concept, because they are following rote learning, whereas
Hmm.
we need concept based learning nowadays. Same as,
Hmm.
if we talk about our education back in, when I was doing my matriculation and intermediate, so it was more about you have to get good grades, you have to get 80%, 90% first
Hmm.
position, second. There
Hmm.
was a lot of pressure on kids. And,
Hmm.
parents used to compare their kids with other kids, that he's getting first position, you also have to.
Tare
So in
zameen par.
Africa, yeah, yeah, exactly, kind of that thing. But now,
Hmm.
gone are the days. Now the
Hmm.
parents, the most difficult thing is always change, and the human psyche is that we always resist to change. So we need to actually break that thing. So when we started our first project globally, talking
Hmm.
about, we talked about
Hmm.
the rural aspect,
Hmm.
we trained a first batch of 15 educators who
Hmm.
were like, all of them were accountant, engineers, teachers, and
Hmm.
they collectively worked in that organization, and now they have set up a proper STEM lab in Baminda, Cameroon, which is
Hmm.
there, like they shared their pages by name of Pathfinder STEM Hub. And now looking at those students and educators, connecting with those students who wanted to have access to STEM education, they
Hmm.
couldn't go to states or any other country. Now they have the same setup in form of a maker space where they come on weekly basis, and they have this collaboration with those educators. That was the first thing. And still
Hmm.
we are, because I'm a STEM training partner of that organization, they are doing an amazing job. So that was the first thing. Then in terms of Pakistan, because being a Pakistani, I really, really, really want to focus on our rural areas. We want to actually do something useful. And I agree with you what you said, that there's a lot of hindrance right now when it comes to women empowerment in Pakistan and in a couple of other countries. So we have to start from one step. So if I'm going to take one baby step, then another step, and then a couple of other organizations, they're doing a great job in this thing. So
Hmm.
together we will be able to create that impact. So we started from Sindh, Sakhar, and Hyderabad, and we launched 3 months online and on-site trainings for
Hmm.
the women who were not even allowed to leave from their house.
Who
So we
are
talked
not
to them.
even allowed to speak.
Exactly. So we talked to their parents. So it was kind of parenting counseling session being done with the parents of those girls. That, okay, so there's one more thing. It's a part of our culture, that, here the parents are more comfortable if their girls are being mentored by a female mentor, right? So it's like kind of perception that is there in those rural areas, that they kind of freak out when a male is coming. They'll say, no, we don't want our girl to be
Yeah.
mentored by him.
Hmm.
So what we did is that we picked up passionate young girls from
mm,
those areas
mm,
where the families were supportive. We formed
mm,
a group. We
mm,
reached out to houses, literally to houses, only the
mm,
females. And we talked to
mm.
the mother, that's fine. You have internet in your place, that's fine. You don't need to bring a laptop for your child. If there's this one mobile, it's more than enough. We will be teaching your child, your
Mm.
girl, your young daughter about a skill through which she can earn by sitting at home, and
You
she'll
are
be finding.
actually developing them a right man for the right job.
Yeah, yes, kind of. You can, yes,
Okay,
you can
one
say
question
that.
is that. One question.
Sure.
You are doing a great job, I must say. But my point is that you are a female and you are living in Pakistan. You are Pakistani. My point is that what you are doing is actually a dream because you are doing the things, you are doing some change in Sindh or Tharparkar in those areas, right? So, what kind of difficulties have you encountered so far in your life?
Doing all these projects
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. There were difficulties, there are difficulties,
yeah.
but Kamran, to be honest, if we talk about on-ground realities, so I was having this conversation with of my friend who's from education yesterday. So she also said the same thing, that difficulty is there, but the barrier is over here. So the biggest difficulty is the cultural dynamics of those areas, where
Bhutto's
the
in
people say,
there.
"We don't want this. We don't want this." Even in Punjab, we went to this area near it's near Multan, Vihadi. Yeah. So we went to Vihadi, right? So we had like this group of 50 girls from there. Then we
Mm,
went to Multan and we went to
mm,
Faisalabad. And then the surrounding villages, which are known as chucks, Chuck number this, Chuck number this.
mm,
So we visited those places.
mm,
And the first thing that they said, that we don't want you to educate our child. She's going to a college. It's more than enough for her. And
mm.
then the statement that they said were, "Isne naukri nahi karni." That was the first thing. Why are you teaching her? Isne naukri nahi karni. And I was like, listen, education is not for the sake of getting a good job. Come on. It's for to enlighten her. God forbid, if at any point of time
They
she
just
has
think
no,
that she has to marry soon. That's it.
even though, yeah, but then we had a conversation which
Yeah.
actually led to a positive thing. We said, fine,
Mm,
we
mm,
wish her all the best. So if
mm.
you're going to get her married, fine, she'll have kids, she'll have a, what if at any point of time, God forbid, something happened to her husband? Might be anything. Life is uncertain. So what are you going to do? She'll sit at home saying, "Oh, I am not educated. I can't do anything. So I have to beg. I have to go
Mm,
for wrong means."
mm,
What will she do? She's going to be dependent. So you are actually letting her be dependent on someone for the rest of her life, which is not good. So this kind of conversation, but we are having, yes, I'll be honest, there were a couple of sessions in which we failed. The parents were
mm,
not convinced.
mm.
But we didn't stop. We said no. If 50 houses are saying no, five are saying yes.
But
So
you
we'll go
have,
with those five.
yes, you have made a good shot.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is that nowadays, what I feel, education is, people consider education as a source of getting a good job,
Mm.
getting six-digit salary. So it's
Yeah.
not like education is there to change your, mindset. So
We
if you
think
are
the
going to
same as
educate
well
a girl,
in Lahore.
yeah, exactly. So if you're going to educate a girl, she'll be a good mother. She's going to be a good teacher, good mentor for her kids. She'll
Mm.
be upbringing them very well because she'll be aware of the facts that what is right and what is wrong.
Actually, there is another problem. It's a male-dominated society.
Yeah,
So they
unfortunately.
so they
Unfortunately.
don't bear that if a girl she is getting promotion on a job and she will come from the job and says to her husband, I got a promotion. You know, what will he think and what will he say to her? Go and make a cup of tea for me. I don't need your job.
That's why, you have raised a very good point. Why? When a woman is educated, empowered, and enlightened, if she is going to give birth to a boy, she needs to teach that boy that once you will grow up, you need to show equal respect equal mutual understanding to a girl who's going to come into your life, or even to those girls who will work with you, who will study with you. So it all starts from education. It all starts from here. But this mind shift is going to, changing the mindset takes centuries.
Yeah,
Not
I
just
have noticed
days.
one thing in you. You are actually working on mindset skill, right?
Exactly.
And you
Very
have a
rightly said.
long-term plan to do a
True.
change. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you. Now
it's
I'm
not
gonna,
something you can do overnight.
yes, I am gonna ask you a personal question, and I hope you will answer it.
Sure, sure,
I
please.
have recorded 121 interviews so far. Now I am taking your interview. You are very much confident, and the way you speak is remarkable. These
Thank
are the
you.
skills, actually, communication skills, right? How did you learn these skills?
Well, talking about Kamran, education, again, I'll go back to the same thing which I've just said. It really matters a lot. It depends upon your mother and father both. So during your childhood, all of us, everyone on this globe, is influenced positively or negatively by our childhood.
Hmm,
Childhood traumas or childhood inspirations stay
hmm,
with us for the rest of our life. So my
hmm,
mother is the, single common denominator. She herself, she's a housewife, right? She didn't
hmm,
work anywhere. But she always encouraged me that, okay, Faiza, whatever you are going to do in your life, you need to have self-confidence in yourself. If you are right and you're not hurting someone, you're on the right path. Just go for it and don't let any external factor let you stop. And that thing was there since from childhood, because it's not that one day I just woke up and I say, oh, I have to do this. No, it's like over the period of those 20 years initially, the mother is there and the father, and then your father, the male
hmm,
figure in your house,
hmm,
is someone, if he is the one who is kind of belittling your mother, who is not letting her have a peace of mind or let her share her opinions, then same thing will be translated in the kids. So my father was always like, more than my brother, I just have one sibling, so more than my brother, I was being given more opportunities, that no, hey, you can do it, so you're doing a great job. So there was always a push at the back. So when the parents, primarily father and mother, both are respectful with each other and they are supporting you, nothing in this world can actually stop you from doing anything which you are supposed to do. So it all came from there. That's why I'm focusing that, I believe in that when women rise, communities rise. So if we have to empower one, so if during one whole year I have empowered, if let's suppose two women, I'll be more than happy. Why? Because two women means two generations,
hmm.
and then the woman is going to give birth to her children, and then so on and so on, so it will be translated. So what I have learned from my mother, I'll be translating this into my daughter. Like my daughter is like 11 and a half years right now, so we have
Mashallah.
this conversation, and she's very good in arts, so I encourage her that this is one skill that you have. Start investing on your skill. Investing
Hmm,
means in terms of time.
hmm,
And I tell you that if you're going to school, just enjoy the process of learning and then invest on your skill. Same
hmm.
as what we are implementing right now.
I also need your coaching on communication skills as well because I have something to share with you after the interview.
Sure, sure. So, communication is first, if you have confidence in yourself, and the thing that you are saying, if you have information about that thing, your communication is going to be flawless. But then everything, Kamran, comes with practice. What
Hmm,
I feel, what we believe, that being an educator, even being a person, if I'm saying something now in which I don't have any faith,
hmm,
I'll not be able to say it with proper confidence. So I'll be saying
hmm,
it, okay, empowerment, I would like to do this. I'll share some buzzwords and that's it. But
hmm.
if I've experienced it, if I have faith in it, I am actually going to make sense out of it. And it goes for
Absolutely
everyone.
right. Absolutely right.
If
Pfizer,
you're going to ask anything from me which I don't know, trust me, I'll apologize. I'll say, Kamran, I don't know about this thing,
hmm,
so I can't comment. Rather than saying something, which I don't know.
yeah. And we enjoy this moment when someone comes to us and he asks something from us, and we do not know about that topic, but we try to convince him that these are the flaws we have to overcome on that.
Yeah,
And
it's much better to
yeah,
admit that we
yeah,
don't know. Please
hmm,
enlighten me, please educate me. We could
exactly.
say
Hmm. Paiza, what's your least favorite part of a job?
least favorite.
Yeah,
I would rather say, rather than saying least favorite, I would say least challenging and least draining. Because
sure.
you get drained, then you
Hmm,
become stressed, and there
hmm,
are points
hmm, hmm,
when I say, "Oh my God, it's not working." There are points when I'm low.
hmm,
It's not that I'm always like, "Oh, I can do it." No, I'm a human being, so at times I
hmm,
do feel, "Oh, I have attempted 20 times and again I failed." But
huh,
then what the point is, it's something that when we are doing this in this male dominating society,
hmm.
changing the perception of people
It's
towards
challenging.
making I don't have a right word to actually explain
I
how
have some
draining
words but can't speak.
so so it's really challenging, but then I'm really inspired by the poetry of Ilama Iqbal,
Hmm,
because we get a lot of inspiration from
hmm,
Iqbal, that when he says that no matter what you do, at the end of the day, if you think you are that Shaheen who needs to
hmm,
actually fly,
hmm,
then you need to have that determination that do it, do it, do it
hmm,
till the time. So, nowadays people are saying, fake it till the time you make it. I'm not in favor of this thing. Why
hmm,
to fake? If a person is saying that, whenever I do anything, I'm successful, I'm sorry, he or she is lying.
hmm,
Nobody can be successful every time. There are failures.
hmm,
And we need to be very gentle. We need
hmm,
to be very kind while accepting our failures.
hmm,
So there are a couple of days, 1.5 month back, I literally failed terribly in a project. And I
hmm,
was like, oh my God, I've given my best and still I was not able
hmm.
to make it. But the best
Admit
part,
it. Admit it.
yeah.
Yes.
But
No problem.
what
Yeah.
motivated me was I have given my best.
Yes.
Whatever capabilities I've experienced it, I've
Hmm,
implemented it. Now
hmm.
it's up to Allah Almighty. He has to help
Yeah,
me.
yeah. And you
And
have
if
talked about
that
the,
time,
and you have
yes,
talked about Iqbal Shaheen. Now the
yeah.
Shaheen, they are taking drugs.
Again, then, Kamran, there's a
I'm
lot of
talking
work
about the
that needs to be
university
done.
perspective.
Yeah. I can understand. But then, if we talk about the same universities, there are students who are excelling. There are students who are still in their limits. There
Hmm.
are students who are still practicing good. Why is
Hmm.
that so? Because of
Because
the
they have a
parenting.
vision. They have a vision.
Yeah, but there's a strong parenting behind, which we
Hmm.
call in our society is tarbiyat, talim
Hmm.
or tarbiyat.
Yeah.
Our
Hmm.
society is focusing on talim,
Uh,
but society is not focusing on tarbiyat.
we
We
are
need to
looking
focus
for
more on
degrees.
tarbiyat.
We are just
Yeah,
taking degrees for getting a good job, and that's enough.
yeah.
Then people will think,
Because we
people will
just
say
feel,
that you have become
yeah.
successful. They just want to get that kind of compliment from the people, and they judge us. Unfortunately, people will judge us.
Unfortunately,
Hmm.
yeah, true. The criteria of success nowadays is really vague. Criteria
Saira,
is good
Pfizer,
car, good
Pfizer,
house.
one short question because we have an ample time. One short
Okay.
question. What do you do for fun if you get a time?
For fun, I write. I write.
Right?
This is what
Where?
I love doing. Yeah. So I
Where?
do
I will
have
follow
a
you.
personal journal as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, sure. So I started writing when I was at the age of 8 years, because I
Hmm.
used to express myself through writing.
Hmm.
If I'm happy, if I'm angry, whatever feelings I have to write. So I do
Hmm.
have a personal journal as well. And apart from that, I do write in forms of short writings,
Hmm.
in form of food for thought.
Hmm.
And I'm a person who really believe, so talking about what I enjoy doing or fun, I'm a person who is a strong believer of law of attraction, which is there
Hmm.
in quantum physics.
Hmm.
So energies around us, so it has a lot of impact on our life.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I really enjoying sitting with the people. I can actually feel the energies and vibes, and if you connect with those positive energies, wonders happen. But if you're there and a person is there with a energy which is somehow not matching with your energy, then
Mm.
you'll get drained.
I am
So this
also
whole
getting
process of
energy from
identification
your
is
side right
incredible.
now, and I'm very excited to getting that.
So
Faiza,
there's a lot of positivity coming from your side.
Faiza, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really wonderful having you here and learning from your experiences. But before I wrap up, is there anything else you would like to share with our audience?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Kamran. It's a pleasure. And thank you for your patience and for listening to me as well, though I took a lot of time. And the message is that, we really need such platforms like the way you're doing right now, because once people will start sharing their narratives and their stories, then the other person sitting somewhere can see, okay, fine, if she at this point or he at this point has done this, I can also do it. So I always say, and the message that I always have for the educators and the learners out there, that empowerment is not an overnight process. It takes time. It gives you a ripple effect. Just start contributing even one step. Even if in 6 months you have achieved one thing, be proud of that,
Hmm.
and be proud of all the failures, because failures are not failures, those
Hmm.
are attempts towards your success. And don't label success with those materialistic things,
Hmm.
car, job, blah blah. It
Hmm.
should be with your, it's intrinsic motivation
Hmm.
term,
Hmm.
so it's within self
Hmm.
actualization. So this is what, just have faith in yourself and have faith in Allah Almighty.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
if you have good intention, nothing on this earth can actually stop you from
Any
achieving your
mess,
dream.
any message, any suggestion for me?
Well, not suggestion. You are mashallah experienced enough. The message, for yourself is that although mashallah it's like 121 episode, that's what you
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, and the patience and the calmness that you have while doing is something really appreciable, because I because my in my certain role, I have to communicate with a couple of people, right?
Hmm.
So just keep on going with this calmness and with this positivity, because I guess in your case your positivity is your main drive. And just keep up the good work. And when a person is positive, it's there on the face as well. At times you can feel the energy, and I
Hmm.
felt the same energy. I felt a lot of positivity coming from your side, and then your attention to detail is really good, because you
Hmm.
didn't just stick to one thing. You actually took things out of it, and
Hmm.
then you wanted to know. So the curiosity is there, it should
Yeah.
be there. So keep up with this thing as well.
Thank you, Faiza. Thank you for your time that you have participated in this podcast. And definitely, when people watch this podcast, they will get some strategies to apply in their life to be successful, like people you are, and they can get their dream jobs as well. Thank you so much once again. And I believe I am going to invite you with another episode with different questions and topics, and we will record
Sure,
another
sure.
episode. Thank you so much
My
once
pleasure.
again. Have a lovely day, ma'am. Take care. Allah
Thank you.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.